Hi, guys. I'm going to be doing a reading on the staircase and Ivana. And recently, Mr. Wolf had said that Epstein in the past had commented that Trump had said he fantasized about ending someone on via a staircase. I don't know. Creepy. So I'm just going to throw the cards, see what I get. I'm going to try using Trish James' personal predictions deck, looking at it from Ivana's point of view, and then I'll probably use the Rider-Waite. I'll just wait and see how we how this goes, whether the cards work out or not and make sense. Okay, so did Ivana's ex-husband have something to do with her falling down those stairs? Yeah. All right, let's see what we get. I get abundance and prosperity. Just, this is like a big yes to me, potentially. Patience and delays. There is something about timing. And there may be a delay around, I think, finding out an abundant more amount of information. There could be a financial angle that is an MO because we know how he likes those coins. But I interpret this as a yes and as a possible uh, likelihood that there is that there is presently a bit of a delay with some information. And then I think we're going to get again where we're seeing information come out of the woodwork, kind of like what's been happening more recently. Okay, let me just fix the resolution here. Okay, let's see what else we get. The next two cards, release, letting go. Well, that certainly could be like, falling. Emotional overwhelm. I think so. I think for her, she let go of, I think, uh, life here. But I think that there was also showing here, it feels like a fall. These cards feel like a fall to me, especially the release, letting go aspect of where you're trying to hold on, maybe, and you lose your grip. And there's something emotionally overwhelming. Now, I think that this is my opinion, and it's all alleged for entertainment purposes, theory with the cards, that had it just been an accident, I don't see why she would feel emotionally overwhelmed by it. To me, this has an element of yes, definite answering of yes with the first card of abundance and prosper. Um, and a hint, I believe, with patience and delays of saying there's more to come out about this that might be released with also that released letting go card. And there's an element of being, I think, for her, of feeling emotionally overwhelmed by what went on at the time. And I'm sure people may feel that way if more information that than has been already released comes out. A change in perspective. You need balance. Oh, wow. Well, losing one's balance on a staircase is one thing. But I feel like looking at these cards, this is to me not an accident. And she's hinting at a difference in opinion is going to come. It's delayed in coming. The information is delayed in being released. But when it is released, there's a lot of feeling pretty emotionally overwhelmed, and that there's a need for balance. There's a need for truth. And the scales are on this card here, plus the change of perspective. I believe more and more information around these things will change the perspective of more people that have supported him. We don't expect it to change someone like myself that doesn't support him. But I think it's going to be shocking. There's so much more than we're even aware of, which we know, but it's still going to be, I think, rather stunning. And there's going to be a change in perspective about him to do with the subject matter. Okay, what else is coming? Mental struggle, creative inspiration, career in advance. You know, to me, this tells me he does deal with mental problems for sure. There's issues at hand. And he's so focused, I think, on what he wants with the creative inspiration of what he's seeking to create, what he's seeking to um, have, manifest, especially where it bolsters his income, his status, the career, security. And that's with support system. He has the people around him that support him because he helps them. So she's showing this to us. All right. I think this is saying there's people around him that kind of know, but he has a great deal of support to keep him in place. However, she's showing cards of burden and responsibility. And I did ask if he was. To me, more yeses. And inner strength is needed. This is self regulation and not just acting on impulse. Strength is needed because he's going to have a lot of burdens. There is perhaps even something that will come forward about connecting him. possibly connecting him, because there's a heavy burden here, and there's going to be a shift from where it looks like he's really supported, he's right up here, and then we get those cards where she showed us a perspective change. And I think it's on how people perceive him. And I think people are going to see him as someone that is willing to do things they shouldn't, and that he needs to be held to account. Strength is needed, burdens responsibility, because he doesn't regulate himself very well. And he's not going to always get away with it. This will be hard for him because, again, he has very little self control here. And I feel like that's why she's saying he doesn't have the strength to handle the consequences of the things he's done. Wow. Take a leap, take action, happiness, high vibe. I think it's possible that someone will take a leap and chance something, again, connecting him to this. And I think it makes her happy that someone would take action to hold him to account. But it would also take someone using a great deal of maturity and inner strength to take him to task. However, I feel like she's hinting at that's possible. I find it personally, honestly, doubtful because it gets away with everything, but I have to give you what I'm getting. And to me, the vibe is there's a delay in his being a having to account for things he's done. And he's done so many things, it's going to overwhelm him. But it looks like someone is going to be brave, or there are people that will be brave that try to hold him to account. We get transform, grow, proceed carefully. Uh, this makes me feel proceed carefully, that she did use care in using those steps. Um, Again, with the transform and grow, I think this aspect of her passing is going to come back into the spotlight. More will be shared. It will change perspectives on him, even if they can't prove necessarily anything. I think the weight of this is going to be heavy because people's perspectives on his connection to it are going to become stronger. They're uh, linking him to it, and that's going to grow. But I do think they're going to be careful in connecting the dots, getting the whatever it is that links him to this. But I feel like someone pursuing, or those pursuing this information, are going to find more. connected to this situation of her staircase and her ending. Have to watch my words, YouTube. And then she shows calm, peace, and clear mind, and to expect miracles. So, with my doubt, because he's gotten away with so much, maybe I'm being cautioned not to be too much, excuse me, of the doubting Thomas. There might be something here that is indeed on the miraculous, where information about him and this are going to link up. And I feel like then she'll have more peace of mind. That's another piece that is going to fall into place. And I feel like she's telling me expect the unexpected, because there's potential for more information to grow and expand that is not going to make him look good with regarding her demise. Adventure, travel, breakthrough progress. Again, the sense that there's advancement and some kind of breakthrough information, something. And she says to expect a miracle. Big news. Social connection. Maybe there will be more digital footprints, if you will. Affected by external circumstances. Maybe that's the MO. Completing cycle. This isn't done. I don't think this story is ended as we think it is. I think there's some big information that's likely yet to come. And it would give us more of an understanding, perhaps, of motive and change our perspectives even more upon him. She's saying also that he doesn't have the strength that he needs to endure all the trouble he's created, the consequences he's created for himself, the burden, the stress. So I think that even if he doesn't end up behind bars, the stress of this being sought is going to be significant issue for his long-term longevity. Catch my drift? Improved, fixing the problem. Brain fog, confusion, and boredom, inactivity. Lost sleep, fatigue. Well, we know that he does not sleep very much. And as you get older, of course, that's part of it. But I think it's also stress and perhaps other medications that aren't used as they should be. Um, to me, this is worry. And the fatigue means he's going to start looking tired. I feel like she's indicating his cognitive decline further with brain fog and confusion and boredom and inactivity. And to me, I think it's because of his largely sedentary sedentary lifestyle that he's okay, he goes and he plays golf, but he's he doesn't exercise his brain, you know. He's incurious and he's doesn't take care of himself very well. So I feel that there's been a cover up, to be honest. Um, but I think that could change, much to her liking, with improved situation and fixing the problem. Just a few more on this deck, and then I'm going to switch it out. She's got rest and relax now. I think she's saying she'll rest and relax once people understand that he's connected to that in a more dramatic fashion. Avoid or keep to yourself. So rest, relaxation, avoid or keep to yourself. Change is coming. Changing direction. So there is something with that ending that isn't looking particularly great for him. And it's going to make him very nervous. He's going to lose sleep about it, probably further cognitive decline. And, you know, he's going to have challenges ahead, trying to protect his energy. Okay. So caring for others is at a slow pace. That's just the other card. Yeah. That's in all likelihood him sending um I think it just speaks to the fact that his caring for other people is very conditional. And he's going to have big changes coming that he does not anticipate. All right, let's take a look with the Rider-Waite. Let me just shuffle. I'll put this on pause while I'm shuffling. Okay, just finishing up my shuffling. So I'm asking if DJT is responsible for her ending. Is he responsible for that? I'm getting the card of constriction. I think he wanted something controlled here. And the Nine of Wands. I think so. I'm being shown trying to control someone, their freedom. I'm also being shown with these two cards where one is blindfolded and the other has a bandage around the head. There's damage here. There's abuse with the Nine of Wands that and trying to and there's issues with personal boundaries here. And trying to defend oneself but feeling stuck. I think she tried to defend herself in the end, but may not have been able to. We get the Hermit. This is seeking. And we get the decline of the Five of Pentacles, causing a decline, causing damage physically. That's here too. So she could have felt somehow entrapped at that moment, alone as well with the Hermit, and injured with the Five. I also feel with the Hermit and the Five of Pentacles, there is looking into much more um, thoroughly into her ending, shall we say, and injuries, blunt force, trauma. Often, blunt force trauma to the head is indicated with the Nine of Wands. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do know that blunt force trauma was listed as part of the issue. This card speaks of that kind of injury. And using your energy to try and protect yourself as much as you can, but you still get injured here, you know? So she could have felt stuck on the staircase, stuck to move away from danger. And I feel like this is investigation, quiet investigation that goes more deep. And into the physical um, aspects of injury decline, including, I think, his own. We have that delusional element here with the Seven of Cups and the Two of Cups. So the two of them, that relationship, he may not have, it just, I'll be honest, it's showing me somebody that's mentally disordered. The other cards spoke about that. And we're getting it here too, but it's also in relation to what their relationship is. It's to me like he still looks at her as part of his uh, um, connected to him, with the two of that they're still bonded, but it's fantastical. It's really not based necessarily in reality here. And I tend to think there's something more with that Eight of Cups. I'm sorry, with that Seven of Cups, because it's so close to the Hierophant and decline. And we no less get the medical, to me, catechus here. I may not pronounce that right. I'm just feeling that he's connected to the injuries. Here's the card usually that denotes marriage, conservatism, also authority in certain fields. And to me, this is saying what I was talking about earlier, where she's still his. So I'm going to go with, because it's so close to this delusional couple card, that he sees her as still being like his wife in essence. And he has rights to treat her the way in his mind that and do what he wants. There is an extreme here that needs balancing out. And we're always cautioned with patience. And the other cards did speak of delay, where this case is concerned of her ending. We're going to find out more. There's going to be a lot of hard work. I think specialist work, possibly like it would have to have like a forensic aspect to it, but I think it's going to get looked into at some point. It might be delayed, um, but it's going to show creepy likelihood that he has a connection to it through some sort of I just feel like there's some sort of information that is yet further to come out, that there's more yet to clarify. And just that little bit that Wolf offers, as Epstein shared, that Trump had fantasized about making someone have an ending on a staircase. You know, there's more. I feel like there's more information that just needs that person to go in and look very closely and put the lights on it. The past comes up, and the attention and spotlight. The Fool. This can also be connected to falls and not knowing the danger that you're in. I don't think that she knew the danger that she was in. And this is also taking big, dumb risks. And we have the Ten of Cups for, I think, selfish purposes in this case. Normally, this would be potentially a very happy card of family and children and maybe a new child coming into the picture, but that's not here. This, for me, is someone that takes a big risk within family, and we have the wife, the husband, the children. I can't ignore that connection and the fact that there was a fall. And I just feel like naivete. We're getting the Page of Swords. So this is news, information. Oh, and judgment. He's definitely connected to this, in my opinion. That is going to be a mind blower. Some sort of further information that is really, truly going to change perspective, because Judgment is a new awareness that is expansive and has greater understanding of the bigger picture. It's a radical change from the past. It's also holding people to account. Let's see what else we get, and then I'll end this. The Page of Wands and the High Priestess, information that has been hidden, secrets actively kept. And I feel like someone using that fiery wand to pry open the darkness. The wife, the Empress, also dealing with a lot of money, abundance, like the first deck showed. And the Five of Swords, to me, this is the bully taking away someone's ability to defend themselves. I think he may have ensured that she could not get a grip on the railing or something like that. Again, all alleged theory only. But this is cards that talk about abuse, abusiveness, and especially towards the wife, and cruelty over someone that exceeds what they need to do. They just like to be a jerk, you know? This is taking away, in my opinion, someone's ability to defend themselves and mocking, somewhat that mockery, like he likes to do. He's a bully, so it fits. And the fact that I get it next to the wife, I don't like it. You know, I don't like it at all. A lot of emotion. She showed that overwhelming emotion, overflow of emotion here, and transition. So I feel like she's showing us that she felt very emotional about what he did. She must have recognized and understood um, what was happening. And I think it surprised even her. Death. So we get the cards of a lot of emotional release, transition, death, and the Ace of Swords. There will be clarity about that death of hers. Wow. And this could be him trying to defend himself. I don't know. It could be speaking to her trying to have defended herself. And there was some kind of offer or approach, and I don't think she wanted it, or she wasn't going along maybe with it. Or it could just be, especially with the Knight of Cups, sometimes what someone is approaching you with isn't a good thing. So they can be putting on a face that of, I'm not going to do anything untrustworthy, but they're trying to lure you into trusting them. And here we get that card of a defensiveness where someone's approach is concerned. Wow. The Queen of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. Wealth, comfort, now Ivana is a Pisces. This is her. She also has an ascendant. Her ascendant was in Scorpio. Moon in Sagittarius, midheaven Virgo. Okay. She was an Earth Ox, birth path of 9. I'll include this in the description box. So we're being shown, I feel like her or possibly your daughter, and there's money. This is lifestyle. This is comfortable living with the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. Then there's the Page of Cups. Child. This could again be a nod toward her daughter, Ivanka. Oh. And that there's, well, maybe not necessarily, but there's more than this. This is more than one person involved. Okay. And it might be a bit of a surprise. Now that may not necessarily be her daughter. But this is more of her surprise being worked on by more than one individual doing this. So I think those that there might be a couple of others that he conferred with that may come out. It's all about for his own whims, desires, um, pleasure, and plan, money, financial. This benefited him and his plans. And and there's more than one person that knows. And it helped him to do this, get away with it, in my opinion. Okay, so let me just ask. I know that he's going to be around for some of it because it shows him being overwhelmed by it. So, will this come out while he is yet on Earth? Will this information come out while he is yet here? Will the information concerning Ivana and her ending come out while he is still on Earth? And will he face actual consequences? Will he be facing actual legal kind of consequence? Got the bully card and cruelty with the Five of Swords and the King of Pentacles. I think yes. Eight of Wands. But information, activities around this case quicken. The news spreads. Things go viral. This can also be connected to the violence because we do have the bully card next to the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Eight of Wands and the money wealthy card of I'm even more comfortable and financially motivated in my cruel actions to keep myself comfortable. Very selfish. Okay, you can see the selfishness. For his own comfort and to maintain himself. Manipulation, more than one involved. This can also be that there will be others, more than one involved, that seek to dig into this and investigate it. But there is communication, and these are the efforts of more than just him. So I get, yes, I think he will be here. There's going to be a big shift and change for him. That much has been said earlier. And what did she say? He's not going to have that strength that he needs, though this card comes up. It's going to challenge him so much to control himself. It's going to also probably show how much he's abusing power over others. The Sun, we get clarity. We've already gotten the Knight of Swords earlier. More clarity, more exposure. And it's rocky for him. There's juggling. He's trying to move things around. But it's clear also his juggling, I think, around this ending, him trying to manipulate things. And maybe that's also the two potentially other people that were involved. I also feel like this shows unsteadiness and her losing her footing will be clarified. There's some sort of clarity on this instability. And we get the Knight of Swords. This is sudden, making haste. It is knee-jerk reaction. Ooh, and there's hands-on effect. This can be assault, putting hands on people suddenly. I think it took her off guard, and he suddenly acted. I just feel that this is going to get looked into with greater scrutiny with the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. But we have to be patient because they have to unlock some hidden information and hidden plans with the Seven of Pentacles and the High Priestess. But I do feel like people feel intuitively and will be intuitively drawn that look into exposing the information. We get a King of Wands and a Knight of Cups. So we're being shown a fiery male that's making an approach to her, the Queen of Cups. Like I feel like he's pretending like he's going to offer her something other than what he's there for. Yes, there's dishonesty with her, not being honest with her, not being transparent, and it shows the secrets, that there are secrets. And it deals with, again, I think maybe some small but significant findings in maybe her injuries, and maybe also through his own mental decline. He might end up saying things, who knows? Yeah, we get the Hermit searching justice. Having help, hopefully not to cover it up, and being pleased as punch for that help. content, smirky. I'm hopeful that this is someone that can offer help to bring clarity and justice, to look more deeply at him and not him using the law to protect himself in an abusive fashion. Knight of Pentacles. All right. Lots to do with money here. And the Devil. For this is like long-term financial corruption, physical abuse, um, abuse of power, especially where relationships are concerned, and vice. He has it. And his vice rules the show. It dictates to him his actions that are cruel, in my opinion, where others are concerned, just so he gets his way. That's what's in charge. So, ooh, yeah. I see him connected to this. And I see it coming out, and I see some legal kind of aspects occurring. I don't know that he will face anything for it. But I do get cards of success, harmony, stability then, and the pursuit with the Knight of Wands, with direction after the legal card of this abuse angle and injury, the head injury particularly. So we'll just need to watch that space. All right, there's your deep dive on Miss Ivana and the staircase. If you appreciate deep dives like this, please can you give me a thumbs up? Thank you so much. And I will be on to the other readings that I have listed in my community section. But this kind of political significant reading is something that I will always put a priority on. Anyway, I will now be going back to my list. Thank you.